All right, happy Thursday night, everybody. Welcome on into the Raiderland Worldwide headquarters. Glad you're with us. It is Over Underrated Thursday. It's also What If Thursday, but we're kind of not going to do the What If Thursday because we didn't do it Wednesday. And now we've got the number one recruit in America, the greatest player to ever play football, ever in the history of ever, in high school football, in Georgia, committing to Texas Tech, and LaDamion Guyton, a five-star outside linebacker recruit. We'll discuss that tonight. Your thoughts on all of that. Plus we will visit with longtime Lubbock social bon vivant. He is a fantastic interviewer, host of the Win, Lose, or Tie podcast. And Tye King's going to join us later on tonight in the back end of the program, talking about how he created 806 Day. Before he ever created it, it did not exist. I did not know this. Also, he's just a good dude, so we're going to hang out and talk with him. All right, so you guys know what to do. The early arrivals, get in, jump in, take advantage of the United Supermarkets and Market Street text line, chat line, whatever you may be, on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media, on Facebook, on our YouTube channel. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the YouTube channel. Go ahead and sign up for it. It's always free. You do that tonight. Then we're also brought to you by Tall Pine Resort in Red River, New Mexico. One of our favorite places to be. It's in the Upper Canyon. It's like a throwback to the old days, right? Like you grew up going out camping and everything. It's got a private lake. The river runs through it. Old rustic cabins. No phones, no TVs. Yes, they do have electricity. But it is definitely getting away from the heart of town, from the heart of Red River, and going back in time to, well, however far back in time you want to go. Great people, Terry and Lance. If you're looking for something that's a little more, say off the grid, but not completely, with modern amenities. I mean, they got kitchens. It's really nice. They're nice cabins. You need to call Tall Pine Resort. Check them out. Tell them we said hey. Also by McAlpin Chiropractic, the official chiropractor of Raiderland, Kevin McAlpin. His slogan is not, if your back's out of whack, don't call a quack, call Kevin Mack. Dang it, it should be. Check out his webpage. Check out his Facebook site. Give it a look. And then give him a call. Tell him we sent you. All right. Let's do this thing in 3, 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com. You start your day every day on the website. We give you the Raiderland hot links, freshest, coolest, neatest links from around Raiderland. We give you the question of the day, which today on Overrated, Underrated, Rated Right Thursday, where we go to rating things, is all-time retired NFL quarterbacks. So we want your quarterbacks tonight, your quarterback ratings tonight, retired, not now. So from Tom Brady to Peyton Manning to Troy Aikman to Joe Montana to Bobby Lane to Sid Luckman, Sammy Baugh, you get the idea. The guys that you think maybe are held in too high esteem, the guys that don't get enough love. Is Troy Aikman underappreciated? Nobody won more games than the 90s. See, is it possible that a Hall of Famer like Troy Aikman could be underrated? That he doesn't get enough love? And he still looks good today. Let's admit it, guys. Still looks good. He's got his, his beer. What is it? Hard 8 or something like that. Something 8. He's got his own beer. I need my own beer. If anybody is producing beer out there and would like to work with me on a Ryan and Hyatt beer, I'd love to talk about that. Is it possible that he's underrated? Is Joe Montana overrated? Is Terry Bradshaw underrated? Is Kurt Warner overrated or underrated? Drew Brees, overrated, underrated? Warren Moon, Tony Romo. Jim? Was Tony Romo underrated or overrated? You tell us tonight. That's the question. All right, so the biggest story of the day, and we certainly want to hear from Texas Tech fans on this. Are you shocked, surprised, otherwise amazed with the LaDamion Guyton commitment today? He is if you go with rivals in on 3, he is the number one, not defensive recruit, not outside linebacker recruit, the number one high school recruit in the class of 27. Let me repeat that. Not like the best in Georgia, not like the best at his position, the best in America. ESPN has him at number 4 nationally right now. Today he commits to Texas Tech over, who did he choose Texas Tech over? Everybody. Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, the People's Republic of China. No, actually, I don't think they were in there. When you saw that today, and you see what Texas Tech is doing, that comes after the Felix Ojo recruitment on the offensive line, about a month ago, with the top offensive lineman, that it's not just buying players from other teams, right? It's not just the transfer portal, that this is now extending into something that might be sustainable at the high school recruit level. Give me your thoughts on that. And then, will he make it to Texas Tech is the other question I have. So he's class of 27. There are reports that say he could reclassify into the class of 26. And by that, we mean exactly that he could come out early, out of high school, much like Quinn Ewers did out of South Lake Carroll when he went to Ohio State, hung out there for a year, got a bunch of free NIL money, and then went down to Texas. Do you think he ever makes it to Texas Tech? He's going to continue to be recruited, no doubt about it. Schools will continue to come after him. The NIL ain't going away. Does he make it to Texas Tech? And does it matter? We asked that question tonight because, and I think it matters. I mean, you want him to make it. You want him to be there. But is this not just another free recruiting ad that's all over ESPN, CBSSports.com, On3, all the sites, all the social media, that we see what's happening here and we go, wow, that's an ad. That's an ad for Texas Tech, isn't it? It's pretty amazing. All right, let's get you guys going on the chat line. Thanks to United Supermarkets and Market Street. There are many grocery stores in Lubbock. There's only one that puts their name on things at Texas Tech. There is a grocery store in Lubbock that puts their name on things down in Austin. Spend your money wisely. Bob jumps in. He's on Facebook. Brian Heights, Raiderland on Facebook. Don't cost nothing. Subscribe to all the platforms. Money huge, obviously, but I think Blanchard is really making things happen, he says. James Blanchard, your director of recruiting and, your general manager. Let's just call it that. That's the easiest way to understand it now. You are operating as a professional football team. He's your general manager, your director of player personnel, whatever you want to call it. You look at the quotes today from LaDamion Guyton talking about when he made his visit, meeting the coaches, felt like family, all that stuff. I mean, that's kind of like old school recruiting too. It's not just the money, right? JC on our YouTube channel, Ryan Heights Raiderland. Everybody on YouTube, thank you for being out there. Give us thumbs up, hit the like thing or whatever, and then share it, invite people in. Not surprised by recruit. Curious if he reclassifies and here after half of junior high year. Great interview on flawed with our crazy UT lady. She has something. Oh. Okay, I got. I'll explain what he's talking about. I did an interview with a wonderful woman. She's so cool. We had a blast talking about Texas Tech football, college football. She covers Texas. I'll talk about that later on tonight. Anyhow, thanks for watching that. But yeah, I think he may reclassify, and that's something that Chris talks about on our Facebook page right there, jumping in. He will probably reclassify to 2026. I don't know if probably is the right word, but maybe. In reading the different things, I think there's a possibility to do it. I don't know how hard it is right now for him to do it. But let's say he does, all right? And he's there in 26. That'd be awesome. You get Cooper Hackett at offensive tackle, really rolling. Oh, just people getting so mad. Texas Tech recruiting nationally against teams like Georgia and Alabama and LSU and Texas. We can't have this. But I'll pose the question again. Let's say, and I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm not trying to throw cold water on anything. But if LaDamion Guyton doesn't ever play at Texas Tech, he gave you a great ad today. Something that you never get. Or I should rephrase, used to never get. You weren't the team where they had the hats out. Your hat wasn't out there. They sure as hell weren't putting it on. That when you're involved in high-level recruits like this and you get them on the line and they say yes, and you're going to have to recruit LaDamion Guyton every day until he shows up, and then you're going to have to recruit him every day once he shows up in Lubbock. Because until things change, and ain't nothing going to change until there's a collective bargaining agreement and the players are employees and the schools operate like the NFL, until that happens, every day you've got to recruit your guys. But if nothing else happened today, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids who follow this stuff now on social media, more so than they did in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s and ever before. They have the ability to track these guys. Who are they talking to? Who are they putting their logos on their, Instagram and on their Twitter feed and on their Facebook feed and all the stuff? He gave you the freaking greatest ad you've ever had, probably. Bigger than Micah Hudson. 10 times bigger than Micah Hudson. Give us your thoughts on that. Thanks to United Supermarkets chat line, whether you're on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media, whether you're on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel. We want to hear from you. Questions, comments. It doesn't have to be limited to this. Our topics tonight, obviously, LaDamion Guyton, what it means for Texas Tech, what you think it means for Texas Tech. We had a cool topic ready to go until the Guyton news broke today. And tomorrow we're going to do it. It's most important new player. NIMP. Most important. MIN. Well, anyhow. The most important new player for Texas Tech. We're going to close out the week with that coming up. All right. We're going to close out the week with that tomorrow coming up with the most important new player. And then we're talking overrated, underrated, rated right quarterbacks all time. You give us that. We are going to bring in Tye King here in about 5 minutes. Close out the show with the social bon vivant that he is. Bouncing around town. The longtime Lubbock sports broadcaster. Creator of the Win, Lose, or Tie podcast. NASCAR fan, a man who knows how to adjust a camera for white balance. We'll have him on in about 5 minutes here. I want to know, and I'm intrigued because I want to know more about this 806 day that, quite frankly, yesterday, I had no idea what people were talking about. I am the most uncool person you know. In the movie Almost Famous, I'm always home. I'm uncool. JC, overrated Romo single-handedly lost games for you. He rarely single-handedly won games for you. I would disagree from the standpoint only that even as he was ascending to the quarterback throne in Dallas, that I was saying he's being unfairly judged. He's an average quarterback being asked to do above average things. He was never a great quarterback, but that's what Jerry Jones does. And he's doing it again with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is a slightly above average NFL quarterback, not elite. He's not a game changer, yet you continually ask him to do elite game changer things at quarterback. And then you get mad when it doesn't happen, and then he gets hurt. He's going to get hurt again this year. And people will get mad. It's not Dak Prescott's fault. He vaults to fame with just a tremendous offensive line for 1 year, a great running back early in his career, and all he had to do was do play action passes. You know, it's all he had to do, and it was so simple, and he was great at it. But as far as Romo goes, I think Romo is probably rated right. And I wrote him down on my list of guys over the last several years. You know, like an Eli Manning, Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Tony Romo, Drew Brees. Out of that bunch, is Eli Manning overrated or underrated? He's going to be in the NFL Hall of Fame. You win 2 Super Bowls, you beat Tom Brady, you're going to be in. He's going to be in there. And I know Dallas Cowboy fans hate him, and I get that. Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is kind of the Dan Marino light, I think, of the generation. Certainly a Jim Kelly light, but I think more of a maybe closer to Dan Marino, who couldn't get to Super Bowls, whose team was never really complete around him, who had to deal, Rivers had to deal with, defense that just couldn't get it done in the crunch. So where do you put him? And we can go back again to the 90s: Aikman, Young, Elway, Favre. Favre overrated? You guys know me, I love Brett Favre. You know? I love Brett Favre. Is he overrated when we get to it? Retired quarterbacks only. All right, a few more minutes before we get to Tye King. We go back to the United Supermarkets chat line. Wendy jumps in our YouTube channel. Hi there, Wendy. Biggest challenge we will have is people from Georgia guilting him for not going to the blue blood of the state of Georgia. I say, LaDamion now, have you thought this through, young man? I say, we can have some conversations about what we can do for you in Athens. That's not even Georgia. That's Foghorn Leghorn. What the hell is that accent? Now we need to back it up in the field so we don't lose the 5 stars. And she nails it. Wendy nails it right there. If you don't win 9 games this year, you don't win 10 games. If you're not in the mix to play in the Big 12 title game, if you're not relevant in November, whether you're Joey McGuire or Cody Campbell or anybody else, does it begin to ring hollow? The answer to that is yes, Wendy, it does. That they will come back at you if you don't win 9, 10 games this year. If you're not relevant this year, that the blue bloods with the blue money and the green money will come back and say, see, you can go there and you get your money. Go get paid. Come back here and win. And that will be a problem if you don't win. Jan is on Facebook. That's a social media platform and certainly not a drug. I still don't know what it is. I just wish they would come to Tech because of Tech, play, then go out into the world. I enjoyed college sports more back then. You can still enjoy it now. They're coming to Tech. If you go back and read the comments from LaDamion Guyton today from Georgia, he talks about family, how much they care about you, how much he loved his experience at Texas Tech. That's all the same things they used to say. Jan, do not hold yourself hostage to enjoying college sports today just because the dudes can go out and buy a car, let alone a hamburger. Don't let it control you. Don't let them have that power over you. Because if you go back and you read the comments from what Guyton said today when committing to Texas Tech, it's everything you wanted somebody to say in 1965, 75, 85, 95, 2005, 2015, 2025. It is. It's okay. Why do you want them to be poor? JC on Facebook, YouTube, pardon me. Ditto, not mega dittos. I can't get mega dittos. Best way to lose recruits is to lose games. Yes, I agree. And I mean, that was the case before when they weren't getting paid. But I think it's still the case now that the hammer that they will drop, other schools will drop against Texas Tech, Cody Campbell, everything else, James Blanchard. Yeah, okay, go there, get your money. Still didn't win. Now the question becomes dangerous question. Dangerous question. Do they care if they win? Do you think NFL players care if they win when they enter free agency? Do you think Major League Baseball players, when they get their second contract, do you think they care if they win? NBA players, until they're LeBron and they're old and they want to go play with LeBron, do you think they care if they win? That's the question. No, but we're about to hear from Tye King as we get ready to bring him in here on a beautiful Thursday night in West Texas. He is the host of the Win, Lose, or Tie podcast, long-running podcast. All the cool people in Lubbock and West Texas want to be on it. They want to sign the board. They want to be a part of it. Tye, a longtime sports media journalist, broadcaster, a man who can white balance a camera, a man who's worked at least one, maybe two TV stations in the market. And he's just a good dude. All right. And he joins us now. We bring him in.
Can you hear me right now?
Oh, no. We can hear you so loud and clear right now. Look at that backdrop right there. Look at those pictures. Look at everything. Hey.
That's my logo for my podcast.
Looking good, man.
That right there is all six of my nieces and nephews that I love dearly. And then this one over here was my mom and dad's 80th birthday. And the last picture we took of him, we lost him last November, but I'm not trying to down the show. He was I can tell funny stories. You and I have that in common.
Yeah, we both grew up in coaching families.
Yeah, we grew up big coaches family. So I did hear a funny story about him the other day, just real quick. He left Kilgore High School out in East Texas to take the head coaching job at Friendship in the 60s and 70s. And he won their first district championship. Okay. And they'd never been to the playoffs before, ever. And my mom didn't cook for a month. People just brought over food every night. And I'm like, if that's not West Texas, I don't know what is. That's just crazy to me. So
all right. We got stuff to get to tonight.
Okay, let's get to it.
Now we were talking, you told me this yesterday, all right, because you are hip, you are cool, and you interview all the cool people on your podcast. And you're plugged in. All right, so all this thing yesterday, I'm like 806, something 806 day, like 80s.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think in terms of area codes.
Right.
But you allegedly, according to yourself, allegedly,
this is
806 day on social media.
This is self-proclaimed.
Did you do this?
Yes. I actually threw an 806 party like 6 years ago. And
why not?
It was August 6th. And I thought, what a great idea to have an 806 party for the area code.
Who was the most person at the party? Was David Collier there?
David Collier did make an appearance. Yes, he was there. Jamie Berryhill was there. He played. His band played. So it was like an official party. I dare say where it was, but we rented out Burger Theory in the Holiday Inn Express. So that ought to tell you, kind of where we stood.
This was like a production of some sort.
Yeah, exactly. We had quite a few people show up, so it was fun. And I'm telling you this, and this is the honest to God truth. I was at Little Woodrow's a year later, and I'm using the restroom, and above me is an advertisement, and it says join us for 806 Day. And I just went, you know what? I'd never heard of it before then. So I am laying the hammer down. I did that. That is me. I can't, I don't know how to trademark it or anything like that. I think that's far gone. But I just want my due. That's what I want. Yeah, just want my due that 806 Day was originated by me. And you know what? I even have to go further than that. Amarillo is 806, but I really don't even count them. So yeah, so that they don't even, they can have their own day. So
no, they cheated us in high school football every time we played at Dick Bivens. So
1,000%. I did a lot of radio, football on the radio on the sideline. I was a sideline reporter, and I can tell you right now, Dick Bivens does not have a fair bone in its body.
The only place worse is Plainview.
And Plainview is also one of those places. Exactly. And you know, it's funny. I did stand-up comedy for a little while. And obviously,
I think you're doing it right now.
Well, obviously I was really good at it because here I am. But and when I tell people about Lubbock, you know, and that when they don't, you know, if I was out of town, I was like, there are towns around Lubbock that tell you exactly what it looks like, you know, towns like, you know, Brownfield and Littlefield, Level Land,
Florida,
Shallow Water, Cotton Center. But Plainview is a different entity in its own. And I would almost bet that is if you're driving up I-27 from Lubbock to Amarillo, as soon as you hit Plainview, you've got to change the heater, the air conditioner to the heater. That it's almost exact. So it's almost like I would love to get Ron Roberts or John Robinson on that and just be like, hey, and as soon as you're on the way back, as soon as you hit Plainview, you got to go back to the air conditioner. So that's just how I feel about it. Yeah.
All right, I want to talk about your time in the media, the growth of the podcast, and everything else. But I want to go back really.
Gotcha.
So what was your first job in sports media in Lubbock? Who are you working with?
Okay. I got a degree at Texas Tech. Well, first off, I went to South Plains for 2 years because their program was phenomenal.
Let's go South Plains College.
Absolutely. And it was actually light years ahead of the Texas Tech television department
From
program.
a technology standpoint, 100% agree. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And they had a teacher out there, John Sparks, who was amazing. So, but when I wanted to go to Tech, and I love Tech, and I'm born and raised here, I graduated with a bachelor. And so this is another funny story, but I graduated with a bachelor in broadcast journalism, but I also got a minor in sociology. And then I was going to see my advisor for my last semester, and my advisor was this older lady, and she goes,
"Oh no, hold on, was it Janet Wright?"
That sounds familiar. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And she says to me, she goes, Tye, you need one more Spanish class and you could have a minor in Spanish. And I looked at her and I said, Janet, yeah, that was her name. I said, Janet, look, I'm trying to party this semester. I'm trying not to do anything crazy. She goes, Tye, do you know how good that looks on your resume? And I'm like, I don't. I don't. No, I don't. And I don't really care. But she talked me into it. It was nearly the death of me. My Spanish teacher was from Spain, and her name is Pilar. She was a couple years older than me, very cute. I saw her at the Midnight Rodeo one night, and I walked up to her and I said, Pilar, I will buy you all of your drinks. I just need to get a D. And
gentleman's D.
Yeah. And she turned and she looked at me cross-eyed kind of, and she goes, you buy all my beers and you teach me how to two-step and you will get a D. And by God, I got a D in that class. But she goes, you have to show up for every class. You cannot miss. by God, I was there every day. And you know what? And now my friends give me a hard time. They're like, Tye, you're the smartest person in the world. And I'm like, really? They're like, you've got 2 minors, dude. Who has 2 minors? And I'm like, nobody in their right mind has 2 minors. So I have 2 minors. So there you go. I'm the smartest man. And I don't know how to speak Spanish or anything like that. So there you go.
See, está bien. Yeah, we may have we have something very in common on the Spanish and how we got out of it. Mine was in summer school. I'll tell you some other time.
Okay.
Right. So you get out
but okay. To answer your question, sorry, long way around. My sister and her husband started Bahama Bucks. Okay.
Heard of that?
Yeah, and and they were 19, going to Tech, and they built this shack in his backyard, and I helped paint it. I was 13, and I was like, "This is bull crap. What are we doing?" And we moved it out there where Grace Clinic is now, and
they're on the Brownfield Highway.
Yeah, all of a sudden, it starts to pick up steam, and Blake, the and my sister, who are the founders, start getting their creative juices flowing, and they moved the corporate office to Phoenix to try to do some franchises. And so when I graduated from college, I moved out there to work at the corporate office. Little did I know, I wasn't going to make any money. I wasn't making any money, and
it's like a problem.
I started looking around. I got a job offer to sell pharmaceuticals in Biloxi, Mississippi. So I moved from like the driest place on earth to like the most humid place on earth, and I got a job, and I quickly figured out that wasn't for me. And one of my best friends that I met in college, his name was Benji Sneed. He needed a third sportscaster at Channel 11.
Yeah, so young Benji Sneed.
Benji Sneed is the news director. Pretty incredible. And I
woke up one day. He's the news director and he's playing guitar.
Yeah, exactly. And so I moved back to Lubbock, and I was the third guy, and I could anchor. I could do that, which was a plus. And so I anchored on the weekends a lot, or anchored when Emily couldn't, make it or whatever or whatnot. And
this is about what, like 03?
This was 02 to 04.
Okay.
Almost to 05.
Gotcha.
So, okay. Yeah. So it was BJ Simmons.
Right.
And yeah. So yeah, and that kind of stuff. That's where I met Chris Level, and I met you, and I met all like these people I looked up to, and anyway, so that's where I became a sportscaster. And then Friendship opened up a television station for their students to take. And what's crazy is they offered me a job to teach television, which was double my salary that I was making at Channel 11, which, I mean, teachers don't make anything.
Yeah. So put that into perspective, people. The teaching field came calling, and the media guy was like, "Oh hell, that sounds good."
And I was like, "Spring break, really? Okay, yeah." So there you go, man. That's kind of how it went, and I still stuck in the business because I did a lot of high school football radio for Friendship for a long time. Andy Penny and myself, who's one of the greatest people on earth, and
Andy's still down in Abilene and Abilene Wiley.
Down in Abilene, yeah. And what's funny is you could catch him on ESPN a lot. He does Abilene Christian football and stuff.
That's right.
So, that's right. Yeah. So anyway, so that's kind of how that happened, and I kind of stayed in teaching for a while, and eventually got back into pharmaceutical sales where the real money was, even though I didn't care for it. So there you go.
So that brings us to the podcast, The Win, Lose, or Tie. Great name.
Thank you.
The podcast has become something that everybody in Lubbock wants to be on, from coaches, athletes, players, media people, whatever.
Yeah.
The genesis of the podcast, how it started, and then we'll go in from that. We'll get into some of your favorite guests. But
Okay.
when
Perfect.
you started doing the podcast, what did you want it to be?
Okay. I have a, and a lot of people look at this the wrong way, and I don't want them to, but I have like a hero of mine, and it's Howard Stern. And
Okay.
I didn't want it to be a Howard Stern show, but I love the way he conducted interviews and had guests on.
And you're kind of talking about like the 90s Howard Stern.
No, and I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about like
the
more evolved and the more evolved Howard Stern.
Okay.
He's not
interview. Yeah.
He's not as racy. He can still be racy a little bit, whatever. But really, I thought of the name Win, Lose, or Tie, which I already had the email. And I just thought, you know what? I want it to be in a selfish manner. I want it to be about me. I think I'm funny. And I really think that I can have a conversation with people and really get into serious topics or get into comedy topics. Although I have a very, very, very strong love for sports. So sports people and so, you know, I wanted to be all over the place. Kind of, you never knew what you were going to get. Now, I do use colorful language. Yeah. So, and what's funny is like I have my mom. My mom was my first guest ever, and I said, and I'm going to use the word ASS. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. So
I think we're on Showtime tonight. I think we're okay.
Okay. Got you. So she was my first guest, and I go, oh no, I'm sorry. Blake and Kippy were my first guests to talk about Bahama Bucks, and I did use some colorful language. Then I had Mom on, and I said, Mom, I have 2 questions for you, and they're back to back, and I want you to answer them after I get through. And I said, 1, why do you not like it when I cuss on my podcast? And 2, why are you so badass? And you should see the look on her face. I didn't do video or anything.
Right.
And she just she goes, Tye, she goes, I am bad. And I go, I know, but you're bad what? She goes, I'm just bad. And I go, I know, but you're bad. You're bad. And she goes, Tye, I'm never going to say it. I'm never going to say it to you. And so I never got her to say it, but you know, but if you listen to the rest of the episode, you'll find out real quick of why my dad thinks I was conceived on one day and why my mom thinks it's not that day. And so, yeah, I asked my mom, no holds barred. Yeah, it's a big ordeal. So,
all right,
it's pretty crazy. And I kind of got that from Letterman a little bit. So yeah,
there you go. I understand. I grew up and cut my teeth on that. Probably do too much interview style from that. Visiting with Tye King, host of the Win, Lose, or Tie podcast. Longtime Lubbock socialite, social bon vivant. You can see him bouncing around town.
Yeah.
I want to go back.
Wait, Ryan, you're the first person to, and I sent you this text earlier today. You're the first person to ever call me a Lubbock socialite, and I don't know that I've ever been more complimented in my life.
No, you know everybody. Everybody knows you.
I was like, dude,
you can go into any men's room in town, and within 3 minutes, you know, people know you. Oh yeah, good to see you. Hey, good to see you.
And I'll tell you this much: I can walk into any women's restroom and be out in 10 seconds. Yeah. So there you go.
So the podcast evolves and you start doing the interviews. And I think you're a fantastic interviewer for a lot of different reasons. And I'm going to ask you here in a minute why you think you're a good interviewer.
Okay.
But let's go back to this and go, favorite people to have interviewed over the years. Who and why?
Real quick. Now, I'm not that good with electronics and those kinds of things. So I was really trying to learn how to make it work. And
same here. I'm still doing it every day.
Well, I mean, dude, the whole first beginning of the podcast, I didn't realize I wasn't going to be on till the end.
No, it's funny. Ty's sitting there texting me going, "Am I on yet? Can you hear me?"
I know. I'm
I
trying
can't
to
hear you.
talk.
Can you hear me? Am I on yet?
I know.
We'll be on at
I'm
6:50.
freaking out. Whatever. I will say this. So my nephew ran track at Tech, and he became really good friends with Avery Benson, former Tech basketball player and beloved Tech basketball player, until he decided to move. And so he came over. I wanted to have him over, and in typical Avery Benson fashion. Now you can go back and listen to this episode, and it doesn't sound great. It sounds like we're broadcasting from, one of the caves in the moon kind of deal. Yeah, but
coming to you live from Carlsbad Caverns.
Basically, yeah. Avery was one of my favorites because I asked him before. I asked most of my guests beforehand, is there anything off limits? And do you, if there's something you don't want me to touch, I will definitely not do that. And
that's the way I began a lot of my dates in my younger days.
Me too. Maybe that's why I'm still single. And by the way, to all the single ladies that listen to Raiderland,
he's still single, everybody.
Yeah, I am still single, and I'm still looking, and when I'm going to be 50 this year, and so once you hit like 49, these are the things you have to say. This is not politically correct, but you have to say, like, they're like, "Hey, how old? How are you? Are you married?" And I'm like, "No, I'm single, no kids, never been married, and I'm not gay." So you have to say that now.
Not yet, anyways.
Yeah, people think that. So, but Avery, I sat down and I go, "All right, Avery, here's some things. You went out with mine. He was real good friends with my nieces and nephews who were in college with him." And I said, and they took a picture of you getting a tattoo of a Wrangler emblem on your ass, like right where it goes. I say, can I ask you about that? And he goes, "Oh, hell yeah." He goes, "I don't think my parents know about that, but I don't think they're going to care. That's not a big deal." And I went, "Okay." That time you played really well in Madison Square Garden against Louisville, and you got interviewed by Holly Rowe after the game, but you warmed up in a Trump t-shirt in Madison Square Garden. I go, "Can I ask you about that?" And he goes, "You'd be better off asking my dad, because I think my dad got in a couple fights." And I just went, "Okay." And then he goes, "You know what, Tye? I'm just going to look you direct." He calls me Uncle Tye. He goes, "Uncle Tye, I'm going to look you directly in the face." He goes, "You can ask me anything you want. I don't care. Anything you want. Just don't ask me if I'm transferring." And I just looked at him. I looked at him and I went, "What?" He goes, "You can't ask me if I'm transferring." And I just went, "Oh my God. Oh my God." So, like, it's taken the life out of me not to ask him that, but I didn't ask him. So, and a couple weeks later, he transfers to the enemy. So yeah, but I still love Avery, man. He's a great dude, and he loves his time at Tech, and he loves the Tech fans. So just to kind of, for you not to hate him as much, he still loves Red Raider basketball. So
who has surprised you that they agreed to come on your show?
David Thomas.
Myself.
David Thomas. David Thomas, who played high school at Friendship.
A little after you. Yeah.
A little bit after me, yeah. Was an all-state player and had offers all over the country. He went to Texas and then played in the one of the games of the year of all time, in the Rose Bowl.
National championship.
Yeah, in the Rose Bowl with Vince Young against Reggie Bush and all them. And what people forget to remember is that David Thomas caught 10 passes in that game, which is crazy to begin with. And I asked him, I said, David, when you're there, I go, did you, like, did you meet Matthew McConaughey? Did you have any like stories or anything? And he goes, you know what, Tye? He goes, he would talk to the team a bunch and do all that. He goes, but we were in Pasadena and it was team picture day. He goes, and after team pictures, they had In-N-Out Burger served to the stadium, and you just went and sat with. He goes, you just went and sat with your team, with your position group, and he goes, and I'm sitting with my position group in the Rose Bowl. He goes, and all of a sudden I just hear this David, DT. He goes, and I looked up and it's McConaughey, and it's by himself. And he goes, can you talk to me for a minute? And he goes, yeah, of course, yeah. So he goes, I go up there and I'm kind of nervous. I've got my In-N-Out Burger, and he has his In-N-Out Burger. And he goes, David, do me a favor, man. Do me a favor. Go through this exercise with me. And I'm already like, this is the most Matthew McConaughey thing I've ever heard in my life. He goes, go through this exercise with me. He goes, all right, close your eyes. I'm gonna close my eyes, but be with me, be one with me. And he goes, now when Vince throws you that football, he goes, that football is your teammate. That football is your best friend. That football is your fiance. That football is your future children. That football is your family. It is everything that you hold sacred in your life. So please, everything you've got to catch that football. You've got to catch it. And he goes, and you can open your eyes now. He goes, and I opened my eyes, and he goes, all right, you can go back and sit down with the tight ends. He goes, and I went back down and sat with the tight ends, and the tight ends go, well, what did he say? And he goes, I really don't know. Like, he's like, I really don't know. And so, but then, so he gets drafted by the Patriots, and he wins the national championship. Gets drafted by the Patriots, and he goes, and I ask him, I go, hey, just, you know, and David, you know, they're a very faithful family, and you know, and David will have a beer every now and again. He's not a big drinker or anything. And I go, David, how hot is Tom Brady's wife? Like, what's her name? Giselle,
or the ex-wife, Giselle.
Giselle, yeah. I go, how hot? Yeah, and you know me, I push the boundary a little bit. I'm like, how hot is Giselle? And he goes, Tye, she's a very nice woman. And I go, I know, but he goes, Tye, we have our kids are the same age, so we hung out a lot. And I go, I know, David, I know. But like a lot of girls are really hot on TV, and then you see them and they're not what you thought. I go, how hot is Giselle? And he goes, Tye, I'm going to answer you as honestly as I can, and this will be the last time I answer it. Giselle is a very nice lady. And so he was a great interview, man. And he let loose and talked about, you know, certain things and before Trump was in politics, and he was in the locker room after a game, and Trump was in the locker room, and Randy was two lockers down, Randy Moss, and Randy goes, Randy just yells, Donald Trump is in the locker room. Donald Trump, you know how country Randy is. Donald Trump is in the locker room. He goes, oh, hell no. And all Randy had on was a towel. And he walked over, and Donald Trump is talking to like these three people that are not affiliated with the team, or they're not in suits or anything. They're not in football pads or anything. He goes, and he walked over and he just interrupted that whole conversation. And he goes, Donald Trump. And Donald looked at him and he goes, you're fired. And he turned around and walked off. And it was the craziest thing.
All right, we busted our time frame by about 20, and that's cool by me.
I'm
because
sorry,
you know who's in charge of time around here in Raiderland?
Yeah.
Me.
Say it again.
I said we busted the time frame, but you know who's in charge? Me.
You are. So I know.
We can keep going. I got one more question.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
The interview you haven't done, that you most want to do, Who and why?
You know,
we all have that list. If you work in this
there,
business, you all have that list. And it
that
could be
that's
personal, it could be professional, it could be so
right,
many different levels of who
right,
you want to talk to. But you have
right.
the ability, you have the podcast, you
Yep,
can make that happen. Who is it and why?
right. You know, it like I would love to say Howard Stern or something like that, but I know that's not that feasible, really.
No, I don't know
And
anymore.
really, and really, who I would like to interview is past, and but I still think he would be number one on my list, and I think it would be Bobby Davis.
Yeah.
I think Bobby Davis would be the number one on my list. I would love to sit down and for an hour and just discuss,
And for those who don't know, we're talking about the former Friendship head coach,
right. Yeah.
legendary man, coaching in Wrangler 13 MWZs,
Right.
starched,
Yeah. And,
took Friendship from 3A to 5A.
Yeah. And ran through some terrible years and like he didn't get, I don't know how he didn't get ran out of town, but he was my hero as a kid. And I went up there for 2 days. I was there, and I would love to. I would love to just talk to him how he handled those seasons.
Yeah.
And then really, I mean, God, there's so many questions that run through my mind that I would want to ask him, because I hold him in such high regard as a coach and as a person. And he was hard. He was a hard individual, man. I mean, he didn't take it easy on. He didn't take it easy.
Raw boned,
right? Yeah. Yeah. I like to say this, like when I tell people about my family when I'm in other parts of the country, I'm like, yeah, my dad was a head football coach in West Texas. I go, the stereotypical
Friday Night Lights and all that stuff.
Friday Night Lights and all that stuff. I go, yeah, my dad was worse than that.
Yeah.
Like. And to me,
Friday Night Lights was cleaned up.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
sanitized version of reality.
Yeah, exactly. And I would like to talk to Coach Davis and even Coach Black. So
John Black,
those would be two really, really, really good ones. And like I said, Howard Stern will be great. But really, in all honesty, I think if like a famous person that is still alive that I would love to sit down and have a real, true conversation with would probably be like Bill Burr and the comedian. I think he has a lot of cool stuff to say, and I love the fact that he pisses both sides off, but yet he still draws a crowd.
See, you're old school. That's why you could be like a late night host. All right. We got a bail, but where can folks go to watch? Can they go on your Facebook page?
Yeah.
And get the back episodes, and
sure.
You've got to start cranking them out again.
Yeah, I know. And I've got
this, right?
And I've got to. And I have 100 and some episodes that you can listen to. You just look it up wherever you look up
Spotify
podcast. I don't do video, which I want to integrate like you do. But it's Win, Lose, or Tie, TYE. I was named after the city of Tye, right outside of Abilene.
Thank God they weren't going through Trent when you were conceived.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And I like to say that Tye has won the state championship in every sport and everything since the beginning of time, except for academics. They didn't win. But Win, Lose, or Tie, and you can find those. You can go through them, and sometimes they're long-winded. Sometimes I do them by myself. Sometimes I'll have a guest. And sometimes, it can veer off into different directions and crazy shit and or stuff. Excuse me. And but Rhino, I can't thank you enough, man. You right now. I mean, I can remember interning at the station at 790, and man, I would bring Bahama Bucks lemonades into you guys, and I would do whatever you wanted me to do. I wanted to be around you. I wanted to be you. I wanted to be like you. And you're a big inspiration to me and what I do and how I get up and how I handle myself. So thank you for that. And I appreciate that. And just at the very end, I haven't done a podcast in probably 9 months. And I just happen to be one of these men that battles clinical depression.
Right.
And it's hard, and it's hard on me, and it's hard to talk about. Like, I'm getting a little teared up, but it's hard to talk about. But I think the more men hear about it, and the more that you don't need to be depressed or embarrassed to go get help about it.
No, just to be able to talk about it. Just talk about it with your friends. Talk about people you know.
Right. And I even text.
Today's not a great day. Today's a good day. Anything.
And I even text you one day, and I was just like, man, this is what I'm going through, and I just hope. Actually, I think you checked on me, and which is huge. Like, to check on people. Like, Ryan, I never expected you to check on me. Like, I got a text from you one day, and it said Ryan Hyde, and I was like, oh my God, I think I owe him a bar tab or something. And so, but then you just checked on me and my well-being, and you don't know what those kinds of things mean to people that go through the struggles that I go through and a lot of us go through. So thank you very much, Ryan. Thank you for having me on the show. So I appreciate you.
No, and thank you. But man, there was a great NASCAR media guy named Steve Burns who passed away about maybe 12 years ago. 12 years ago, Steve Burns, and he passed away of cancer, but he had a great line when talking about people when he was going through his treatments and everything else. And it stuck with me, and I hope it will stick with people when we're talking about this tonight. And he used the line, the best thing you can do sometimes is just be present.
Absolutely.
You don't have to fix anything. You don't have to do anything. Just be present for people. Right. And you never know, whether it's me, whether it's you, whether it's anybody else out there, and that people are going through different stuff. Just be present.
100%.
Just a little text or a little call or a little whatever. Just be present. So
and Ryan, and I'm gonna be honest, and I know you got to go, but Ryan, I want to be honest with you. I was going through the throes of it. I mean, we're like, and it's hard to understand, but like it's hard to take a shower. Like, that's like a big deal sometimes for me.
But just to get going.
Yeah, dude, I'll take a shower and I feel like I just ran a marathon, or brush my teeth, or and a lot of times, old school people like my dad or whatever, they're just like, pick yourself up by your bootstraps and do that. And there's probably something to that. But Ryan, I was in the throes of it, in the throes of darkness. And dude, you sent me a text, and man, it was a lot. It meant a lot.
Well,
so
I appreciate that, but part of that is you get reflected back the light that you give, that you have given, and that people reflect that back on you.
Yeah.
And that when you get, the text from somebody like me or somebody else, that's what you've already done. And that's what I want tonight with me and you talking here, that people realize that you're always giving out a light. You're always giving out something. It's going to come back to you.
Thanks, I appreciate
love you, brother.
I love you too, man. And
got to get it going again. I'll be the first guest when you're ready to go.
Absolutely, man. I would love to. And I love your autograph on my guest board is my favorite, because it says, Ryan Hyde, sorry about the whole thing.
And I meant it. I truly meant it. Ladies and gentlemen, Tye King, Win, Lose, or Tie podcast, coming back strong.
Yeah, you're one of the best, man. Just keep in touch, and I love you, brother, and keep doing your thing.
We got it, man. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Tye. He's one of the good ones right there. He's one of the best. We have been talking for months about doing a kind of a combined show, something like what we're doing tonight. We ran over. Hold on. Don't care. Time doesn't matter sometimes, right? I do need to go to the bathroom, and stuff like that. But I just saw this, and I want to get this on before we get out of here. Lonnie, I almost lost a daughter to self-inflicted overdose. If you don't think anyone cares, I do. Just know that there are a lot of us that do. We all need to do a better as men checking on each other. And that's what I talk about, the Steve Burns, be present. You don't have to feel like you got to fix everything for somebody. You don't have to have an answer. We got a little thing over here, by the way, that says people will pay you for strategies and solutions, but they're not going to pay for your advice. People don't need advice. People need people that are just there and just sometimes go, hey, out here, how you doing, man? That's all. If you know somebody that's struggling a little bit, that's all you got to do. No more, no less. They will access it at the level that they need to access it at. And, you go from there. But just be present. Try to be present for somebody in any way, in any fashion, whatever that may mean in the moment for that person. And it changes. And Lonnie, I thank you for putting that out there, and I hope your daughter's doing great now and doing good. So yeah, heck of a show on a Thursday. Big show tomorrow. We're going to archive this at the website, theraiderland.com. If you kind of like it, you can share it on Twitter and social media and Facebook and everything else. Sign up for all of our feeds. YouTube, don't cost nothing. Everything else. In the morning, big Friday show on the site. Not a show, but the column. We ask you the most Texan thing you've done this week. So jump in with us on that. And then big show tomorrow. Most important new player, which is a really bad acronym. It's like NIMP. NIMPO? Yeah, it's not so good. All right. Anyhow, you get the idea. We'll see you guys tomorrow. The Raiderland.